Just on the injury front, first off, any updates, any changes?
No, a couple of tightness from Tuesday, so we'll see how that goes. But nothing major. A bit of a knock with George from training, George Wickens. So we'll see how that is. But there's nothing major at the moment. Nothing updated. Like I spoke before, a couple of lads coming back on the grass. So Tom Holmes back into training this week and next week. Hopefully, he's not far off now at all. Probably another full week of training next week, and then after that, really.
Is Bailey Calamarchi back with you now?
Bailey's back with us. He's started on the grass but not with the team, so he's working his way back as well, which is great news. We'll see how that goes. He's further off than Tom Hamer, but he's getting over closer as well, which is great.
On Oshin, any further update there?
No, Oshin's that's a bad one, as everybody knows. So we're still waiting for a bit more information on Osh. But yeah, that's a bad one. That's probably going to see him out for the season with that tackle. But we'll see how that goes in the next couple of weeks, and can update a bit more detail around that.
Back to scoring goals from set pieces, how much does that please you when you know it is one of your real strengths as a team?
Yeah, I think it's been a real strength this season with what we've done. I think that's probably been the one consistent, biggest consistent strength, if you like. I thought on Tuesday night again we looked really threatening, but we work hard on them. Scotty Fry, the group, Pordy, the skipper. We work hard on how we deliver and what we do on those set pieces. So it's good to see all the hard work, come into fruition, if you like. And I thought on Tuesday night we looked really threatening from them.
Yeah, Tom Bayliss with the corner for Porty's goal. He's missed a chunk of the season. How important is it to have someone like him with his delivery to help with those set pieces?
Yeah, I think it's always, we can always work hard on what we do, whether we're blocking, whether we're not, or the movements we have on set pieces, our principles around our set pieces, but ultimately it'll always be down to the individual's delivery, won't it? How well we execute that, how well they execute that. There's no doubt in our minds that the delivery is the first aspect of it going well. So I thought since Tom's comes back in, he offers so much with his delivery on that right foot, and I thought the left-footed deliveries with Rico and obviously Sam Klukas he's added a bit more strength on that side as well. So yeah, for sure we can do loads of work on the training pitch, but if the delivery is poor in set pieces, in free kicks and corners, then it doesn't help.
When it comes to trying to get that consistency, how do you build on what you did on Tuesday now going into Saturday?
Yeah, I think that's the challenge, isn't it? I think that's probably our biggest frustration this season so far, is we've put good performances together, and I thought our second half on Tuesday we looked really in control, and it turned out to be a really good performance, even though probably for 10-15 minutes they got on top of us in the first half, but we weathered that, and then I thought we had complete control second half. And now it's about going again and trying to do that again against the Burton team that have won, I think it's 3 out of the last 6 and a couple of draws, so definitely on the rise, but we've got to put performance together at home, and hopefully the performance can turn into the results, and that's the bit where we haven't just strung enough wins together in a run, if you like, which obviously the top teams have been doing, and we haven't quite managed to do that. So it's really important that we go into Saturday with a similar level of performance.
Yeah, Gary Bowyer's done a great job so far at Burton. How has he managed to change things? What has he done to turn them around? Yeah,
I think he's probably used all his experience in his league football. He's turned them around completely since he came in early doors. He's made them harder to beat. Without the ball, they're have a lot more structure and defensively. They're not as open as a team. When we played them, I think it was the first game of the season, the game was quite open. High possession-based team before, but now it's more about getting results on the board. So he's stiffened them up for sure. So a lot more organised, a lot more aggressive without the ball, and playing in a way that is really tough to play against, and about getting points on the board. So, I wouldn't say it's for the purists, but it's definitely an effective way of getting points, and he's done really, really well. Got a lot of time for Gary Bowyer and any managers that have spent so long in the game, because I think any young coach like myself can learn a lot off them, and how well they've done over the years is really important. But to see him come in, even Gareth Ainsworth come in at Shrewsbury and turn the teams around, and how they're doing it just shows their experience about how they can get points on the board in the league season. So they'll be hard to beat for sure. They saw out Stevenage in the week with 10 men, so it just shows you how resilient they're going to be, and we're going to have to be on it.
I know JJ can't play, but does there almost have to be a gentleman's agreement as well between the two clubs that they won't tap him up for information, because he has a lot of information on you, but then he also has a lot of information on them?
Yeah, I don't think you can't control anything like that. You would hope that there is that. I'm sure he's getting a few jibes from the lads in the dressing room, but JJ's our player. He's obviously on loan, and why he's there is their player. But it doesn't mean we'll be the same anyway. So I think you just have to, like you say, just trust. It's not like you can put a gag on him and make sure he doesn't speak to him for a week. So you just have to trust that there's that professionalism between between us, JJ, and the opposition. But ultimately, no game's the same anyway, so we have to look at that.
Another goal in the week for Rob Street as well. How pleased are you with his development?
Yeah, I think he's doing really well out there. And, our ambition for Rob and JJ was to go and play, and both have been playing. So, I get their clips every week. I get all their footage, so I can watch all their games. And I think, both of them, JJ again been playing minutes and doing well, and also Rob Street now doing well and getting minutes, but also scoring goals. And ultimately, that's what we wanted to happen with Rob. Obviously, it's a level down, but he's doing well. I think everyone's pleased with him there, and with both players, they're really pleased. So we keep an eye on it, and then we keep watching, and hopefully, come in the summer we can make a decision what's right for Rob and come back in the building and hopefully challenge for a shirt.
And is it about trying to forge relationships with clubs like Doncaster? So I know they could get promoted in the summer, but if they don't, that you've got a good League Two base to go to for players that need minutes.
Yeah, I also think it's also down to the individual and what they need. I think it differs between defenders, midfielders, attackers, what they need. Rob needs to go and play at a level where he's going to play and score goals. JJ for me needed to play at the highest level possible to keep being tested because we know what he can do in a level down. But then you look at people like MJ and Oshin when they've been on loan, they need to go and get tested without the ball, so they might be in a different level, but excuse me, they're getting tested in a different way. So I think there's ultimately you want to have a relationship with clubs in and around you, but ultimately each individual loan is completely different and has a completely different rationale and development arm to it. And we need to get that right for the player so they can come back hopefully a better player. That's the ambition.
Around Sam Lucas and James Collins, since they've come in the building, obviously having a lot of EFL experience and Premier League experience in Sam's case, just what influence have you noticed that they've had off the pitch, not just in terms of the 90 minutes on Saturday or Tuesday?
Well, first and foremost, they want to play. So, they're not here to just offer stuff off the pitch. They've both been chomping at the bit to play. They're both upset like any, seasoned pro when they're not playing, and they train very hard. And I think that's the first thing. When you look at Pordy, James Collins, Sam Lucas, Tendai, Jack Coe, first and foremost, they're one of the best on the training pitch every day. No matter what age, they train well every day. They're concentrating. They're good pros. So I think that's the most important thing that, the young players, if they're not seeing that, then they're missing something. And the second thing is, like you say, when they need to help with the younger lads, they'll do that and they'll give them a bit of advice without feeling threatened about their own, if you like, status and position in the group. So that's their leadership coming into play. But the most important thing for me is, the most pleasing thing for me is, in the dressing room and around the games, they have the know-how with all those games under the bat, how to settle a game, how to talk to players around them, how to talk players through games. And I think that's what I've seen best from those two coming in. We had that probably in the back line. We had a little bit of that in midfield, but now we've got that up top as well, and they're just adding a little bit of games, not gamesmanship, but the craft of their art in terms of how to do things, which is fantastic.